Cleopatra 1963 from Joseph Mankiewicz was a huge film, but I think what stands out about this one is that it's really 3 films in one. Like that was the sentiment, because the movie, depending on where you're going, is anywhere from about 3 hours to 5 hours long. I think the 5-hour-ish cut is a sort of lost to time director's cut sort of thing. The movie was written with 6 hours in mind, like the script was that way. And then they cut the script down to something that was more comparable to like a 4-hour something. They reshot like 49 different pages to kind of make that work. But I think the goal was somewhere around 4 hours. There's 5 hours of footage, 4 hours that was released. And then I think to a certain subset of general audiences, it was also released as a 3-hour film. But it was meant to be produced as 2 films. It wound up being 3 films worth. That's the way Joseph Mankiewicz talked about it. He would say, these were the hardest 3 films I ever made. But even though it made money, it made a dent. Like 20th Century Fox, I think it was deemed a success, but I don't think in the immediate they got their returns back. So much so that they kind of kept the books closed on it, and they made it so that like all future profits from this wouldn't really go back to anyone who worked on it, which is evil. But the idea that it just wasn't enough, it broke even, technically speaking, in 1973, a good decade later. But like it was like 79 different sets were made for this. 26,000 costumes were made for this. But I think it was proof to the studio system that making big epics was a risk to be taken, and the future lied in the middle budget region. And I think that's kind of what we're relearning from a lot of these flops, from these Madam Webs and from these Captain America 4s, that there's something to be said about filmmaking economically and finding some sort of steady balance of realistic intention that comes from a spec script. I don't know.